Nobody anticipated this. Not from Park Bo-young, not with her eyes wet, not with her trembling voice, nor, of course, on a typical Wednesday afternoon. The entire room froze as she said, "Yes, we're dating, and we've been hiding something." While seated in front of flashing cameras, this duo wasn't just another famous couple in the news. There was something more profound and distinct about this. Everyone was even more startled by what transpired next. You will be left stunned by this narrative, so make sure to watch it through to the finish. That day, Park Bo-young, who is well known for her charming parts and radiant smile, didn't grin. Furthermore, that quiet spoke louder than words. A few moments later, Choi Woo-sik was standing next to her. Gentle, calm, but obviously shaken. In front of everyone, he grabbed her hand and held it tightly. Then, without saying anything, he leaned over and gave her hand a gentle, considerate kiss. "I should have said it first," he said. "She has been the only one bearing the burden. But now, let's be honest with each other." At that point, people understood that this was about more than just dating. It was about trust, survival, and love that began in the most unlikely places. They didn't fall in love on a movie set. Off camera, it started out quietly. They happened to meet at a charity dinner. He was mourning the unexpected death of his brother, and she had recently wrapped up a devastating role. Both were in pain. In different ways, they hardly talked that evening. However, something persisted. They ran into each other once more a week later. This time, they talked for hours after everyone else had left. It grew from there. Long calls grew out of quiet texts. After then, there were walks in deserted neighborhoods, late-night coffee, and, at last, love. The kind that didn't seek praise. The type that merely desired tranquility. However, there was more. They hadn't discussed it until now. Bo-young passed out during a shoot at the beginning of 2024. What appeared to be fatigue was actually a benign tumor close to her vocal cords. She was afraid. For her work as well as her health, who she was, Woo-sik was the only person she told. He remained with her. He pretended to be a friend when he moved into her residence. He looked after her as she recovered. In order to communicate with her when she was unable to speak, he learnt some basic sign language. He was present at every turn. Why now? Then, why make it public, since she had grown weary of hiding? Additionally, he proposed to her, since he asked her a straightforward yet profound question. Not with a flash. Not in Paris, in her kitchen, just over burned bread. "Yes," she replied. They were aware that not everyone would agree with them. They were correct. Social media took off in a matter of hours. They were backed by several fans, they were criticized by others. Brands withdrew. An agreement for drama fell through. Bo-young, however, refused to give up. "You don't have to support us," she wrote on social media. "Don't say we're acting, though. We put up a fierce fight for this love." Days later, the moment that broke everyone came. A handwritten letter was released by Bo-young. She talked about the night she didn't want to wake up, which was the darkest period of her life. "You don't have to be strong today," he said as he sat next to her the entire night, holding her hand. "Allow me to be resilient for you." The letter went viral. People perceived her as a real person rather than a flawless star. A human being, and everything altered as a result. There is more to their story than romance. It's about surviving, recovering, and having the guts to love fearlessly. And sometimes the quietest admissions are the ones that stick with us the most. In a world full with news stories,